Hi, I'm Lee and welcome to the Herba Meditari kitchen. And today I've got a variation on what's become my famous flatbread. And the key ingredient are mushrooms. So I've got shiitake mushrooms, quite a lot of shiitake mushrooms. I'm going to grind them up in a minute. And then we've got maitake together. And then the binder that holds it all together is the linseeds. So these linseeds have been soaking on the bench, not in the fridge, for 3 days, believe it or not. And they go incredibly mucilaginous. When I put them in the blender, you'll be amazed at the thickness of the goo that gets created. And I'm then going to put the turmeric in and emulsify the turmeric with the linseed or the flaxseed soluble fibre. So in my previous recipe, I did that with fenugreek seed, but not everybody likes the taste of fenugreek seed, and some people have said they don't like smelling like a camel. It's quite a strong smell in some people's armpits, unfortunately. So the linseeds overcome the challenges with the fenugreek. And then we have one of my favourite herbs, rosemary. I've pre-ground that in one of my favourite little devices here. I use this little thing every day, particularly for breakfast, for grinding up all my nuts and seeds. So in here is 10 grams of ground up fresh medicinal grade rosemary. It smells amazing. And then we have, I have onion powder, but we could probably use fresh garlic as well. I'm going to grind up some more flax seeds. It's very heavy on the flax seeds, so there's lots of fibre. Got some organic hemp seeds, and then finally sunflower seeds to give it some body, and a little bit of salt. Not quite finally, as it turns out, we've got some olive oil here to give it a good mouthfeel. So when all this comes together, we're going to have a nice crispy, thin, flatbread type cracker that is absolutely amazing. I've been a baker in a previous life. I was a professional baker for 10 years before I got into the herbal medicine industry, and I think this is my absolute best creation. I'm really proud of it, and I hope you enjoy it. So this is 120 grams of dried shiitake mushrooms, and obviously in this whole form they're not going to work well in a bread type recipe, so I've got to grind them up. And it's cheaper to buy the whole cut ones. I like the quality of them better rather than using the mushroom. With the maitake mushroom, I just can't buy that as a whole mushroom, so I buy the powder. So with the Vitamix, it's a fantastic way just to blitz up the dried mushroom, and it turns it into a powder quite effortlessly. And there we have powdered shiitake mushroom. It's a bit dusty. And then we put the shiitake mushroom into the bowl. Get as much out as we can. Don't worry about cleaning it out. And then we're going to blend up the linseeds into a mucilaginous gel. So you can see how gooey that is. So it's important to leave I've discovered the slow way, that it's important to have the linseeds sit on the bench for at least 2 days. 1 day is not enough for the fibres to absorb all the moisture. So imagine these soluble fibres that are tightly coiled polymers of polysaccharides, and at every polysaccharide is the opportunity for a water molecule to bind into it, and they're so tightly packed, there's so many of them, it just takes at least 48 hours for all of the water molecules to infiltrate those networks and puff up. And it's that gel that we want that's going to hold all of these ingredients together, and it's going to enhance the bioavailability of the turmeric quite significantly, I believe. So this stuff is so gooey, it can put a bit of pressure or force on your blender. So if you've got a Vitamix, you don't have to worry, but if you've got a lower quality motor, you just might need to be careful that you don't, like overdo it. And then once this is blended reasonably well, we then add the turmeric in here. And then as it's blending, I'll add some of the oil because it might need a little bit of help. You might need a bit more water. Sometimes the oil might give it the consistency. So once we've blended up the flax seeds with the turmeric, and I've used about half of the oil that I'm recommending into a beautifully emulsified liquid that's light and fluffy, this is going to be the goo that holds it all together and give it great mouthfeel. So we just pour this into the bowl. We've just combined these ingredients together with a wooden spoon. So the amount of mushroom I've got in here, there's about 2.5 grams of mushroom per piece of bread in the final product, which is a therapeutic dose if you're having 2 a day. It's a therapeutic dose of the rosemary. So we add all these dry ingredients in now. So the rosemary, the powdered maitake mushrooms, the powdered onion, the hemp seeds, the remainder of the flax seeds ground up. And I don't recommend you use ground flax seeds. Buy them whole, keep them in the fridge and grind them on demand because the oils go rancid very quickly, and the rancid oils in flaxseed are really bad for you, bad for your health. It mops up all of your antioxidant defences and puts a lot of stress on the metabolic health. And then finally the sunflower seeds. Not quite finally, here's the salt. And then we mix that all through. So this Herba Meditare kitchen is obviously my, family kitchen, and we don't go to a lot of trouble to make it look nice. There's not two-stage. The kitchen is kind of how it is most of the time. We move a few things around, but I'm just trying to give you an honest insight into just what we do and how we live our lives. And I've been making this bread for a couple of years now, and it's been getting better and better. And we make this like every 10 days, every 2 weeks. Everybody loves it. So when you've mixed all that together, a little bit of a workout, we then just let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes. And all of those dried powders will absorb some of the moisture, and it'll be much easier to work with, it won't be too wet. But if you take a close look here, you'll see that it's quite gooey. So when we come to actually put it on the tray, and this is possibly the most difficult part of the whole process, is you need wet hands, and you've got to develop a feel for how the dough moves under your hands when you flatten it out into a sheet. And apparently because I've been baking, for so many years, I just naturally do it, and I can't easily explain how it's done. But the feedback I've had from people is that after about 3 goes at making this recipe, it all becomes quite simple. The beauty of this formula is that the mushrooms significantly support our immune systems, and in this current time of coronavirus challenge and COVID-19 infection spreading rapidly throughout the world, our immune systems need all the help that they can get. And I think mushrooms, the mighty mycological magic mushroom, has got a huge amount to offer. But this is really simple to make. The ingredients, I've pared them back, it's really simple. You might need to buy some special ingredients, but the previous recipes have had more exotic things, and they've had more exotic, more Indian, continental style spicy flavours. This flavour is quite neutral, even though it may not appear to be just from the way that it's been put together, but it's delicious with everything. My favourite is just with butter. So the dough's been sitting about 5 minutes now, so it's firmed up a little bit. It's still quite sticky. You can see the residue on my hands. So we need to divide it in half now. So my technique is to just eyeball it. And then I've got a set of scales here. And I just weigh each piece. So just to see what they weigh. So this one needs just a few more grams, so just even it up. And now with them like this, the next step is to spread it out so that it's nice and flat across the whole tray. This is the bit that technically can be a little bit challenging. So you need wet hands, so got some water. I put it in the bowl that I've just been using to help the cleaning process. So wet your hands. It doesn't matter if it gets a little bit wet because it'll just burn off in the oven. And if you make a few holes in it as you go, that's fine as well, because we're going to come around with a spatula, a metal spatula, and just even the whole thing out at the very end. So here's the metal handle spatula, favourite tool for this process. So it's inevitable that the edges are going to be thinner than the middle. That's not a bad thing. Some people like it more moist, some people like it more crispy. So, you know, if you're making it for the family, you're going to cater for everybody's tastes in that way. And so there's the sheet. I like to divide it up into 24 pieces. So we divide it like this. It doesn't have to be too accurate. You can get the tape measure out if you like, if you really like things to be neatly done. So then 6 this way, so in the middle, and then 3. So now they're ready to go into the oven. It's a cool oven. I like 150 Celsius, about 300 Fahrenheit, for about 45 minutes, although everybody's oven's a little bit different, so I'd always take a look before the 45-minute mark and just see how it's going. Sometimes there's hot spots. You might need to turn your baking tray around, for example. So I've got a fan-forced oven, which gives an advantage on, you know, having an even heat. So set your timer, or ask Siri to set your timer, and go and have a cup of green tea while you wait for them to cook. Okay, so 45 minutes is up. Watch the steam as it comes out of the oven, and they're beautifully baked. They just need to cool now. I put them in a glass container with a lid, and I keep them in the fridge. And the therapeutic dose minimum is 2 a day, but up to 4 pieces a day would be an ideal adjunct to a healthy diet. Enjoy. Hi guys. So the flatbread's out of the oven. I'm kicking back, enjoying the fruits of my labour. Here it is. I like it lathered up with butter, but you can put anything on it that you like. Hummus, avocado, goes well with anything. So I redid my calculations. There's 4.1 grams of mushroom in each square, assuming that it's all divided up neatly and evenly, etc. So 4 grams is a huge amount of mushrooms. The therapeutic doses of these things kick in at around 5 grams. So 2 to 3 pieces a day is really heavy-duty immunological support across the spectrum. Viral, you name it, bacterial, improving the way that we defend ourselves at our surfaces, in our gut and our skin. It's just phenomenal stuff. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I think it's my best creation. So I'll see you next time. Thanks.